Awesome. Thank you. All right. Shall we get started? All right. Happy Friday morning. Yay. It's viernes. All right. Well, good morning again. Buenos dias, Aurora, Kamimura. We have been so honored to have you all here on our campus. It's been really incredible. And I do hope you consider at some time coming back to see the hustle and bustle of our vibrant campus when it's not spring break. But this morning I have the honor of joining us all in celebrating our amazing fellows. So we'll be celebrating both our graduate fellows and our faculty fellows. But before I turn it over to our amazing leaders without whom these programs absolutely wouldn't exist, I do want to say and remind all of you, some of you I got to meet virtually when the program started, others I didn't. I hope you know and that you felt that each one of you was selected on purpose and with purpose and for purpose, and that you felt the welcome into this larger familia. For me, I was a grad student fellow, and Jose always, we have to remember, but I think it was 2016, and then went into becoming co-chair and chair myself of the grad fellows program. And that is the reason why when the invitation and opportunity to join the board came up, I said yes, because these spaces are critical. It was a healing space for me. It was the space that I needed during my doc program during a really pivotal time. And so I hope that this program, I know we're coming to a culmination of it, has served some of that for you. That you're reminded that we have familia that are here, that we're cheering you on to the next finish line and the next one that comes after that, that this is only the beginning. And that this is a larger journey that we're all on together, and that we'll continue being here for each other. So I just wanted to open with that because I know, you often hear from different board members, right? This is the bloodline, this is the cornerstone of our organization. But for many of us, this is the reason why we choose to lead in this organization, why it's important for us. It's because these spaces are critical. So I also hope that you consider now, as you're culminating this aspect of your fellows program, to consider ways in which you can contribute critically to the organization. We've changed, we've grown, and there's a lot of growth that's still needed. And we need you. We need you to help us continue to be better. So I know, right now is probably not like the peak of like, oh yes, like I am so like awake and energized right now. But when you're sitting on the plane and you're contemplating, hopefully the great opportunities that you've had, that you find a way to think about how you can contribute back to AAHHE to continue making us better, but also to continue helping us find ways to ensure that there's spaces like this for us and for those to come after us. So I invite you to be thinking about those because we need you. So with that, I have the great honor of introducing the two most fearless mujeres that I've had the opportunity to work with. Oh, I forget. My apologies. Our vision statement, and I do hope that you take this into consideration and what Cristobal shared with us yesterday, right? That these are not stagnant, that they're active, and that we need to continue growing and developing these. So these are also on our website. They're in the program as well for us to continue working with and through. Cristobal and I have had the honor of working with our leaders, and I lost Cristobal, but he's in here somewhere. So he's the incoming chair of our board, but he also is the liaison to my partner in crime, liaison to our faculty fellows program. Okay, now I get to introduce our fearless leaders, the newest Doctora Dominga Sanchez. So come on up. And Luz Burgos, the amazing Luz Burgos, who have, oh, doble huepa, there we go. But I am going to turn it over to them because their leadership has helped transform and create the program that we had this year. And it's been my honor to support them and their vision and their honor. So with that, las dejo. Thank you.
Buenos dias. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dominga Sanchez. I just finished defending my dissertation in civil engineering. In the field of civil engineering. Soy ingeniera. I'm trained as an engineer. But this space has been very important for me because the STEM field sometimes can be very challenging for different reasons. As a Latina, as a mujer zapoteca, de descendencia zapoteca, as a single parent. And so this space really helped me push through many challenges and barriers. And is one of the reasons why I decided to take this leadership position, which I did not know what I was getting myself into, but it's my first non-engineering leadership position. And it is the most rewarding and great learning experience that I've had. So I encourage our fellows to think about, consider being part of a leadership position. You learn amongst your peers, los colegas. You get to be who you really are. Hablar como se te antoje. And work together to continue supporting our community. So,
Hola, everyone. Luz Burgos Lopez. She, her, hers, ella, Boricua from the island, because that's where I was born. So I'm going to read a statement in lieu of talking about myself. We express concern for the violence occurring in Palestine and grieve the loss of life. Our voice is important and we can disrupt the status quo. In the academy, many of us speak of colonialism, imperialism, settler colonialism, and decolonization interchangeably, or reduce the realities of these events through the neoliberal agenda of the academy. Colonialism is not dead and signifies territorial ownership of a place, space by imperial power. Imperialism is the governing ideology for such occupation, such as the United States and Israel. Settler colonialism consists of settlers who intend to make a new home on the land and homemaking that exists on settler sovereignty over all things in their new domain. The US settler colonialism informed Australia settler colonialism, South Africa, apartheid, and the checkered boarding of Palestinian lands and with checkpoints. Settler colonialism is all around us. The success of a settler nation state depends on multiple apparatuses, including but not limited to genocide. Genocide is the process in which human rights violations occur on mass scale. The process begins with violations such as restrictions on freedom of expression and freedom of movement, escalating the violation rights to families and health, before intensifying to violence of the right to freedom from torture, from cruel, inhumane, and degrading treatment, and right to life. In other words, genocide is committed for the purpose of deconstruction of a group of people based on their nationality, ethnicity, race, and religion. Furthermore, universities are machinery commissioned to actualize imperialist dreams of the settler world. US colleges and universities are the arm of settler of the settler state that reduces and naturalizes social and ecological harm. We are all colonialist byproducts of empire. And some of us are also a byproduct of colonization. As scholars within the academy, we are part of world making that can either maintain, disrupt imperialist dreams of the settler world. We encourage everyone to speak truth to power, even if our voices shake. All around the country, we are witnessing students just like you and I, scholars like you and I, challenging imperialism, calling for a ceasefire, which is hidden for a two-state, but that's another thing. Dr. Uji Anaya tweeted, "This is how Columbia is banning student speech they don't want on their campus. What would our role be as we move throughout our academic path?" Thank you.
And now we would like to ask our fellows to come up. Oh, and introduce our leadership also first. So like I mentioned, I couldn't have done this alone without my leadership. I owe them a lot, and I just want to say a special thank you. The incoming social media co-chair, Ariana Garcia, our outgoing co-chair, Sergio Gonzalez, who couldn't be here with us today, but is with us in spirit. Claudia Lopez, our incoming alumni chair. Where's Claudia? Yeah. And Juanita, who is our outgoing alumni coordinator. And our graduate fellows.
Now the real reason we're here.
Mitzi Ceballos from University of Utah. Oh, Olga Correa, University of Massachusetts. Jose Gutierrez from University of California, Irvine.
Nancy Camarillo, University of Maryland, College Park. Veronica Valencia Gonzalez, University of California, Irvine. Stephanie Ramos, Oregon State University.
Isaac Alejandro Felix, University of California, Berkeley. Stacy Spellard, Howard University. Avelina Rivero, University of Missouri.
Armando Lizarraga, University of Texas, Austin. Gabriel Pulido, Pennsylvania State University. Jasmine Natalie, you see my Spanish? Tobar, UC Suzanne School of Social Work.
Thank you.
Those are our fellows of 2024, 2023, 2024. Wait. Y'all looking at the camera? So as you can imagine, there are some of our fellows who are not here. They're in the process of doing interviews for tenure track positions, dissertation, prep the final chapters, and so, and they're doing life. But we wanted to do a quick update for folks so that you can share this information. So we did an assessment of where we were from when we started till now. And we're more than happy to talk about this. But we've seen an 81% increase since the establishment of the Graduate Fellows Program. Obviously, we saw some dip with the COVID, but we've been rising. And so I think that says significantly to Dominga's point, the need for this space, the need for this community, and also the need of support both in leadership, finances, whatever we need to make this happen. We have also known historically that this is a profile from 2005, 2008. It hasn't shifted too much. Most of our applicants have been from the Southwest region. And so we're trying to be more intentional about how we move forward in that representation because, the Latina community is not just on the West Coast. One of the things that I came on, as I shared earlier, I am very Puerto Rican. And one of the things about Latina spaces is that they tend to be homogenized. And one of the things that we saw was the same thing happening with our selection of fellows. And so historically, we have had 60% Mexican identified, which we understand in terms of history and context makes sense. But what does that mean in terms of the work we need to do for our other communities if we are truly about the Latina community as a whole, right? And so that we have 14% roughly from 2020 to 23 who identifies multi-ethnic, 5% Dominican, and then identified as Colombian. So we have work to do in thinking about how we expand into the realities of our community. And so one of the things that I was sharing earlier is that as incoming chair, one of my goals is to increase Central American and Indigenous representation and continue working at Afro-descendant representation. As you see, even at the conference, you can look around the room, we looking peach. We're looking real peachy. So we need to be intentional about the spaces we create. So areas of growth I already shared in terms of racial and Indigenous identity data. So we need to be more intentional, not just saying like, you identify as Latina. That doesn't tell me nothing. That just tells me you identify with the US Empire's classification. And so we need to increase this representation and be intentional. And so for folks who are in quant, we need that data. So how do we collect that data to be more intentional with the work that we're doing? So gender profiles. So once again, as you can see, we don't have all the years because we see those things were not valued or seen as important for whatever reason, right? And so we have had a shift in gender breakdown. I'm trying to see. Most people have been cis, that's not a surprise. But you see later on, we have folks identifying as non-binary, trans. And so we see that happening, but we don't really have a great representation of trans and gender variant people. And we've also seen a decrease in men, but men are in leadership position. We will work, they have the male projects. I'm kidding, we will work with them. But I think that also speaks to the demographic we're just seeing in higher education. Women are the ones attending. But with that, what are we saying if we're highlighting that and not thinking about trans and gender variant people? Because the same thing could be said, right? And so how are we more intentional? We have had queer fellows, but we don't collect that data. And so that's something also that we need to start collecting to understand how do we bring that perspective, because a lot of our leadership historically also has been queer, and some of us are read as straight, but we're not, right? And so I think thinking about that is important. Some of the changes to the curriculum, we have been very intentional. So this is just an overview. We had a symposium. We're doing research agenda navigating. We're still talking about fellowships. The fellows have been doing surveys. And one of the things I recommended, I was like, great idea is having one on how to pick your selection committee, your committee for your dissertation, how to prep for your dissertation process, like defending the proposal. And so we appreciate that. And we also had tenured, we also talked about tenure track opportunities, non-tenure track, and outside of the academy, because while our focus is the academy, the world's changing. And so we have to keep our options open. And for all of these, we had roughly 2 speakers who share their insights, provided workshops, provided resources that the graduate students have access for. And so we hope to continue. And we also were very intentional in paying folks because we don't like a lot of the work we do, we depend on free labor. And I think in this time, we have to honor the work that we do. And appreciates people's expertise. That's why we're calling them. They spend time on that scale, right? And so we were very intentional about that as well. That was our update. Gracias.
So I know that this often feels like, oh, that was a quick, few-minute update. That few-minute update takes months and months and hours of preparation. So I will come back to that in a little bit. Excuse me. I would like to share our attention now with our faculty fellows and our incredible co-chairs. We have Sara Rodriguez and Ignacio or Nacho, as many of us know him, Hernandez. I'd invite them to come up. They have been incredible. They have developed the program, have grown it. So for many of you, and I know they're going to speak to this year's program as well, but they've grown the program. When this program first began, much like the grad fellows, it was only during the conference. It's now expanded much to the 6 months. That takes a lot of intentionality, their expertise as tenured faculty to help guide this group of current tenure track fellows to ensure success, to create the community to push back on our white-centered spaces and to allow our faculty to flourish and grow because we need so many more of us. So with that, I am completely indebted to all of the work and to especially both of you saying yes when we asked. Because we asked them, would you be willing to serve in this role? And that is not a small ask. But we knew when we asked Sara and Nacho if they would be willing to lead this, and when they graciously said yes, we knew the program was in fantastic hands. So let me turn it over to them, my good friends.
Well, hi, buenos dias, everyone. Buenos dias. Hi, I'm Ignacio Hernandez. As it says there, I'm an associate professor at, oh, it doesn't say there, but I'm at California State University, Fresno, or Fresno State, Central California. Had the privilege of serving as the co-chair for the AAHHE Faculty Fellows Program this year. Let me allow Sarah to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Rodriguez. I am at Virginia Tech, and I am within the Engineering Education Department in the College of Engineering. I think that was all you said.
Yeah. Well, we want to introduce our wonderful faculty fellows this year. Well, it looks like the next slide is we're actually turning over the faculty fellows program to new co-chairs. And so if you've ever done anything like this or have aspirations to do it, I really want to encourage you to do it, but I will say it's a lot of work and it's really good work, right? I mean, things like this are a lot of work and there's some succession planning that has to happen. So like pretty midway into the process, Sarah and I were like, okay, well, who's going to continue this good work? And so we're really, as Aurora mentioned, people ask and then it's service. And so you're like, okay, do you want to commit to this service for the next 18 months or so? So there was some shadowing period that went on and then people said yes, thankfully. So we want to acknowledge our incoming faculty fellows program co-chairs. We have Dr. Hugo Garcia from Texas Tech University. You want to wave or say hello to people? Yeah. And Dr. Magdalena Martinez from Rowan University. Yeah. So we hand the baton off to you too, and entrusting this wonderful program and knowing that, please know that we are at your service and we'll do some transition meetings, of course. And I wish you luck for next year, of course. I hope to introduce our faculty fellows who are here, and then please join us on stage to be recognized, or it's not a stage, but join us up front to be recognized, and some wonderful photo opportunities as well. Yeah, yeah. All right, from the University of Texas at San Antonio, Dr. Sofia Baena. All right, from Howard University, Dr. Jorge Burmicki. From the University of Rhode Island, Dr. Lázaro Camacho. From the California State University, Stanislaus Juvenal Caporale. If you're on Zoom, hey, Juvenal.
From UC Riverside, Jose de Real Viramontes. University of Utah, Leandra Hernandez. Who may be joining us on Zoom. Texas Christian University, Pablo Montes.
Same shirt. Love it.
Oh, wow.
Look, I have more.
From Idaho State University, we have Guillermo Ortega. We just have one stylist for faculty. This too will be you, grad fellows. Part of the fellowship. From Virginia Tech University, Brianna Posadas. University of Central Oklahoma, Alisa Provencio. San Diego State University, Erika Renevera. Universidad de Puerto Rico en CAED, Joan Roque Peña.
All right, from Sonoma State, another Cal State University, Natalia Villanueva Nieves. From Northern Arizona University, Cynthia Villarreal. I think she's on Zoom, right? And from University of California, Davis, Ruben Cesena. Hello, if you're on Zoom. Those are our faculty fellows, and just some acknowledgement points, just very similar to the graduate fellows. We convened for 3 hours at a time, big chunks of time on Fridays, and with the time zone adjustments, it wasn't an easy time for everyone to be together, and I think folks gave of their time willingly, and we really appreciate that. Sarah and I had to work behind the scenes to plan things and make sure that folks had a enjoyable experience leading up to the conference, and so we're really grateful for that. And so again, what you see is a couple of minutes of introductions, but know that these meetings and community building happened through Zoom across various time zones, all across the nation, even in Puerto Rico as well. And having folks give of their time willingly to build community, I think was really, really valuable and meaningful for us. And so we're really grateful to you. And I think you deserve another round of applause, fellows. Congratulations. Yeah.
And I also want to say that even though we can't sit here and list all of your various accomplishments, I want you to know that the people who are a part of faculty fellows, these are faculty senate presidents. These are people who have won significant grant funding. These are people who have published, who've done the work, who are really putting in the time and the effort for the scholarship that's going to take us far beyond. So whenever 50 years from now or whatever, like you all are going to be the standing on the shoulders of giants is right here. in terms of faculty fellows, grad fellows too. We love y'all too. But just to say that I am so very proud of all of you, many of you who I have either known personally or have gotten to know personally, and I'm just eternally always so very proud of all of you. So thanks. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Join in so we can, gather a nice, beautiful
Wonderful.
photo.
Can we get back?
Ya que se enguapetaron.
Sí, ¿verdad? Ya.
I know, I'm the front right, chaparrón.
Ah, you're like, I know where I stand. Nacho and Sara, don't go too far. Stay here with me. Right. Sarah, hold on, hang out here with me for a little bit. I'm embarrassed you for a little bit longer. So, Dominga, can you join us up here, please? So, in all transparency, this is one, if not my favorite, session of the conference because we get to highlight the talent and the excitement and the coming together of familia that's been built over, this past year. But as I mentioned, and I'm going to talk for a little bit because I want to embarrass them. No, just kidding. Because I want to be so grateful, and make sure that people see. There is no really way that I could ever, the organization could really show our full gratitude for all that you all have done. I want you to know that we are a volunteer organization, right? Our leadership is, but the volunteerism is the our outgoing chairs, Dominga for our grad fellows and Nacho and Sara for our faculty fellows, that they've given. Volunteerism isn't the word that we should be using. It's service and love. Because they give well over 100 hours of their own time. When each of us have other priorities, we have jobs, we have dissertations to complete, we have portfolios and leadership and service on our own campuses and nationally that we're called to. And they give to ensure that these programs are what they've been for you. So I would like you to join me. We have a very small token, but hopefully something beautiful for you to keep in your office to know that you have left AAHHE a better place. That without you, our future here with our fellows, grad and faculty wouldn't be the same. So know that the ripples of your impact will continue. And yes, now you get to rest a little bit, but you will pick up the text. I know you will. But we're just deeply grateful for all that you've given, even beyond what the hours can count. So Dominga, Nacho, and Sara, on behalf of all of us, please know how deeply grateful and deeply indebted we are to your love and your service. So thank you. Please join me. So we don't have some temple back. But with that, I know that you all will take your time to be grateful and to show them your gratitude for what they've provided. In due time, we have, a whole 8 minutes. No, but we wanted to culminate this celebration and to know that for me, at least, celebration is the beginning. It's not the end, right? We continue to celebrate. So continue to know and how to celebrate each other. We have a set of concurrent sessions that will continue. So back to Simon, we'll all walk back together in this brisker weather, but at least no torrential clouds that are pouring down on us. And we'll be culminating the conference at 11:45 with our closing plenary. We have an amazing panel that will help us close out and some closing remarks from our incoming chair to AAHHE. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Cristobal to wrap us up. Or did you have anything?
Oh, yeah, all I want to do is acknowledge, everything happens for a reason, good or bad. I believe in synchronicity. The connections, the relationships, the conversations, the cries, the emotions, the love, the stories you're building, you just never know where you will be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I first came to AAHHE as a master's fellow in 2004 when it was a Hispanic caucus, and then as a doctoral fellow in 2007, and a faculty fellow in 2010. And now I have a blessing to be in this position because I recognize that for me, AAHHE has been transformational in my career, from what I call the brown papers, the commission papers, to these opportunities that have placed me in this position, and to what I do in other spaces and organizations, not just in my ascension as an academic, my advancement as an academic, but also as an academic leader, as an associate provost, as a commissioner on President Biden's advisory commission. All those are connected. And I have met wonderful, amazing, beautiful, powerful colleagues like yourselves who have been here in your position, who advanced their careers to full professors, who advanced their careers to deans, who advanced their careers to provosts, who advanced their careers. I think we're at the cusp of getting some presidents soon. It's happening. That's the story of why we do this. It's the pipeline. We've not increased the number of Latina, Latino, Latine, Latinx presidents in the last 30, 40 years, reflective of a graduate and undergraduate student enrollment that has increased, but yet at the leadership. And then we think about, what about at the scholarly level, at the academic level? We're still the least represented in graduate and professional studies, where when you look at undergraduate to graduate rates, we're at half the rate compared to all other groups. When you think about who our doctors are, our lawyers, our scholars, our professors, our leaders, our school leaders, the power of that influence is dependent on our identities and who we are because of the power we bring to the table. There's no other organization that has something like this, that has a history of that influence, that sphere of influence that we bring to the table is very, very powerful, and it is needed, and we need to continue to grow it. Our hope is to be able to expand this, because at the end of the day, this, as powerful as this is only a drop in the bucket. We have still a lot of ways to go. And in 2004, when I think about hearing some of our first elders, some of our first scholar elders, some of our first presidentes saying nothing has changed, we're in the same struggle, we still have a lot to do. And I'm halfway through my career now, 20 years later, reflectively thinking where we're going to be in 20 years from now. Now, I believe and I hope we will continue to grow and take this community and advance it and keep growing it. I know we will. I have no doubt of that. But we still have a lot to go. And the hope and inspiration that you bring to the table and all your sacrifices are more than worth it. And it'll continue to have a powerful transformation to our communities, to your families, to the work we do, to the students we have, will continue to be solutions to our communities and our society. So I want to thank you all for your commitments. I want to thank you all for your love. I want to thank you all for the transformational contributions that you provide to our community. So gracias, celebrate, bring that love constantly. Gracias y felicidades. Tan tan.
All right. With that, let's, we can all walk over together. So onward onto more great work. So we'll see you all in the concurrent sessions. Thank you.